and welcome to the program where we make fun of sales, promotional, and training films of the past. My name is Jason Reid. I'm here with my co-host, Chris Mei. And Chris, this is going to be a particularly cheesy episode because we are talking about the dairy industry.
That's right, my friend. Today we put the cheese in cheesy sales cinema. And because we are discussing an industry that, and I did that intentionally, that has, I'm not going to say it was really beginning, because obviously it wasn't beginning. Dairy's been around for centuries. But this is really about 12 years after World War II had ended. It was really starting to explode.
Yes, and this is really more of an industry film as a film about the products, because it really seems to be highlighting all of the employment opportunities. So obviously they're out there, they're trying to compete in this really challenging labor market. So this is an interesting film. So what we're going to do, as we always do, we're going to riff the film, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a bit of a review and maybe even a little bit of a storytelling lesson.
So what you need to do as the viewer is obviously watch the context, and we're going to riff it, but also pay particular attention to how much from 1957 has changed, because obviously a lot has, but how much has actually stayed the same. I think you'll find that particularly interesting as well.
It certainly is. So grab yourself a comfortable chair, a cup of heavy cream, and get ready for 1957's This is the Dairy Industry.
Bring the cheese. How large were the budgets back then for soundtracks? They pulled in a whole orchestra to do a dairy product video.
They did. And they gave us the world's biggest car that gets about half a mile to the gallon.
That thing's bigger than most military vehicles you'd see today.
Is that woman dressed as a baked potato? She must be selling butter and sour cream.
Now, if that is true, then that was a moment of Shakespearean foreshadowing, and you're going to want to watch the rest of the video. You'll see what I mean.
Secretaries here, they're all in their early 30s.
Ooh, boy, that is a sad state of affairs. But again, why would you want to get dressed up? What's inspiring about the decor in this building? It's gray, it's brown, it's beige, it's eggshell, it's off-white.
Yeah, they were reversed to color back in 57.
They certainly were afraid of it.
There's your calendar, folks, back in the age before Google.
What could go wrong there? You lose a sheet of paper. Oh, I just lost my day.
Some ransom notes here.
Yeah, let's put those aside. Or maybe I should call security.
Is that the red alert button?
Exactly. The best part is it calls in the hero of the show today.
Exactly.
Will you come in, please?
I think she's already in.
Take my rough notes from my luncheon club talk.
Yeah, she's actually already sitting down.
Dairy industry.
Yep.
Let's see,
Good start. Is that all you got?
I can see who's going to be doing all the work here.
Again, more foreshadowing.
Well, what attracted you to the dairy industry, Mr. Drake? Isn't too many years since you graduated from college.
That'd be the way to start. What did I see in the dairy industry?
She just said that.
When I was in school,
Word for
like
word.
most young men wondering about their future. I remember my mind was set on one of our major industries, but I was still undecided. When Professor
Hey, you gotta
Chapman,
wake
with
up
whom
here,
I
Jason. This is
discussed the
Cheezy's
problem,
sales in this. Come on
asked
up.
me to stop by.
Professor.
There you go.
Oh,
Professor,
good
here we go.
morning,
Here.
Tom.
Now it's going to get
Come on
exciting.
in.
Lean in.
Tom,
What is it with the squeaky furniture?
Does anybody use oil?
Though most people aren't aware of it, it's one of our nation's greatest by any standard.
They
By the
only paid
volume
me
of
to
its
say that,
business,
but that's
The
okay.
number of its plants, the people it employs.
The way the world works.
In fact, nearly 30% of the diet of the American
Wow, I
family.
can't stand all this color.
Compare,
It's
if you
searing
will,
my
the daily
retinas.
production of
Ooh-wee.
other great industries with
It's
that of the
distracting.
dairy industry, Tom. Every day of the year, every single day, nearly 500 million pounds of milk and its products are being consumed
A lot of milk.
in the nation that people like so much, that contributes so much to their health.
Especially when covered in chocolate.
No, essentially when it has been covered in chocolate. That's important.
A product, Tom, you became acquainted with from
We
birth.
force-fed it to you, and then as you got older, we forced you to comb your hair in
Food
it.
habit that stayed with you
The
throughout
greasy
life.
kid stuff from the 1950s was butter.
Dairy products that have so many uses that athletes depend on in building strong, healthy bodies.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong in any way, but balance your diet, man.
That people
Butter,
depend
cottage
on
cheese,
in time
and
of
milk.
serious illness.
Mmm. Happy lactose
Ever
intolerance.
drink a glass of milk to relax you just before going to bed?
He takes vodka in his.
Yeah, he makes himself a
Dairy
white
products.
Russian and then he hits the sack.
Nature's most nearly perfect
We
food.
call this the kosher plate.
Ooh, my favorite
And remember
appetizer.
this, Tom.
Anything with
Where the
cheese.
demand for other may fluctuate over the years, not milk and its products. Because folks need milk every day as much as, well, almost as much as the oxygen in the air.
Yeah, I know, I breathe heavy cream.
He was really reaching for that one.
Things that I saw. For example, just the physical structure of the industry. Plants in every city, every town of any size.
Dream
Huge
big,
dairy
Tom.
plants
Dream
supplying
big.
tremendous metropolitan centers.
Back when policemen delivered the milk, apparently.
This had an awful lot to do with the embargo in at the time. There was the Great Butter Battles. That's easy
Yeah.
for me to say. Police and
Trucks
military had
delivering
to
dairy
deliver it to your
products from
homes.
the plant.
I'll have to look that up.
Hundreds of thousands of trucks.
Yeah, read it.
The largest
Google.
transport fleet of any industry in the world.
They use school buses.
That's
On my recent
ingenious.
tour, I
Quickest way
also
to
took a
get the
good
kids.
look at high-speed processing in an industry that owes
Now, there's
so
a
much to the
minimalist
genius of
logo
modern
for you.
engineering.
Real marketing genius behind that one.
Now we're on a submarine.
In the
Making
Navy,
ice cream.
you can make yourself ice cream in the... Anyway, I'll stop singing now.
Something unsettling about this.
Yeah, they've got ice cream sandwiches being dispensed the same way as money in a bank.
So much butter I use on my grilled cheese.
That is really disgusting. But I do like the sound of grilled cheese.
Making cheese.
Speaking of cheese,
Bathtub of cheese.
Why not look at our laboratories for yourself?
well, thank you. Maybe I'll do that.
There you will see the
Uh,
activity.
Mr.
that goes
Wonka, I
on
wouldn't
in
mind going
every
back to
dairy
the
plant.
cheese tub.
Tests, checking and double checking throughout the day the quality of milk.
Apparently, there was a lot of excess people from the Navy. And industrial cappuccino makers.
Ooh, bathtubs of cheese and
Only several
cappuccino.
of
I
a
need to work
series of
there.
many tests that are part of the day-in, day-out industry activity
Mm.
to provide our people with the very best in
Ooh,
dairy
my
products.
department. That's my department right there.
Good lord. Ooh,
But you'll
Oh.
also see research.
Good lord, good
Chemists
lord,
that
look at
work
that
in an
man.
exciting
Yes.
and challenging field.
now it's getting
Not only
exciting.
improving
Clark
what's
Gable is
our
the
present
dairy
products,
tester.
Mad
but
scientist movie.
experimenting
Look
in
at
the realm
that.
of the
That's
future.
awesome.
So Dr.
Also,
Zhivago.
opportunities throughout the whole field of accounting.
And 3 seconds on accounting, and we're done.
That's
Opportunities in
counting. Let's move on.
Big tub of cottage
From
cheese.
Arch Wilson, sales manager of a dairy company, I heard this.
A bucket of cheese.
Today, Tom, merchandising in the dairy industry is creative.
What?
Not
Say?
satisfied with the old stereotype methods. but
Or
forging
the
new
old
paths to
stereotype
bring
of
the
saying
products
industry
of the
correctly.
industry to the consumer.
Yeah, apparently he's just
Today,
decided I'm
we
gonna
are busy
pronounce that
inventing
word my
new
own way.
methods of distribution to the public. In merchandising dairy products, the accent
girl
is
looks
on
like she should be in a
modern,
Beatles
imaginative
movie.
approach throughout the industry.
She has a real magical mystery to her look about her.
Full color packaging for ice cream.
Ooh, colored ice cream.
That is novel.
High-end promotions
So much
to
more
increase
attractive
the
than the
sales of
newsprint they
butter.
were using.
Attractive packaging for cheese products. Then, of course, there are nationwide sales promotion campaigns.
Yeah, buy a
That's what I
cow.
saw on my recent trip. Quite a bit different from the look I took during my college days.
Yeah.
A bigger industry, more vital. And yet, even then, enough to stir my imagination.
His
Get me into
imagination
the
obviously included big tubs of cottage
Well,
cheese.
That's about it, Miss Thomas.
That's what he was stirring with the
It's
imagination.
quite a story.
Yes, it is.
God, this woman knows how to lie well.
Boy, she is a piece, isn't she? That was quite a story.
Here she comes. Look, she knows she's got him right where she wants him.
Oh, yeah. Raise is coming up next.
Here you are, Mr. Drake.
Oh, thank you, Miss Thomas.
Thanks for doing all my work.
Little speed read there.
Yeah, thanks for giving it the time, Tom.
Biggest lie coming up soon.
Good luck on your speech, Mr. Drake. I wish I'd be there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm putting money on it that right now she's calling her friends.
Be funny if someone took the T off.
That's exactly what he's thinking. Yeah, our moment with the assistant manager, apparently.
This is the dairy industry. And that was the dairy industry back in 1957, Chris. And I know you teased us with, getting people to look at what has stayed the same or what maybe did change, but has kind of come back now in 2020. Right. So why don't you talk about that?
Okay, and everybody has their own opinion, and you can put them down in the comments section because after you've subscribed to our channel and our shows, write some of your comments, things that you saw that that I don't bring up here. For instance, well, first you have the middle manager who apparently does no work. He wasn't doing anything. And he calls in his secretary to take notes. Well, that just doesn't happen anymore. No. If you're not a multitasker in this century, you don't have a job. You have to do absolutely everything. Secretaries are middle managers themselves. Yeah. You don't even have the word anymore. So that's definitely changed. Obviously, decor has changed, but that's changed in basically every video we're going to watch. So that's redundant. Things that have stayed the same. Number one, family shopping together. Mm-hmm. That has stayed the same. Kids' love of ice cream dipped in chocolate stayed the same. And things we've reverted back to. We had an era of paper bags at grocery stores. In my youth, I used to bag groceries in paper bags. I remember the switch to plastic. We're now going back to paper. So those were just off the top of my head anyway that I found particularly interesting.
Yeah. I mean, these things are wonderful because they are time capsules. And another thing that I'd like to do before we go is play a little storytelling 101.
All right.
Because as you know, Chris and I have extensive background in television and doing documentaries and speaking. So we're both story guys. And one of the things we did in a previous episode was, look at some of the storytelling in the film. And I kind of want to do the same thing now, only I want to concentrate on something called point of view. So every time you tell a story, you can tell it from a different character's point of view, and it becomes a bit of a different story. So how we approached this film was we looked at it from the middle manager's point of view, this very self-satisfied, insufferable guy, right?
He's the guy that was counting the ceiling tiles.
Yeah. And, for the overview of the industry, I think that's actually the right choice to choose him. But it would be interesting to see the different films we could make looking at the point of view from different characters, right?
Like who? Oh, here we go.
So maybe we could look at it from the point of view of the marketing manager, and the film would be all about, these big novelty vats of cottage cheese and probably some 3 martini lunches. What do you think?
Here's what I think comes out of the marketing department. I've been in marketing, but these are the geniuses who come up with ideas like we saw in that video, the big giant industry that had ice cream in the front. So exactly, this would have been probably a rant from this guy of these were great ideas that they never went with. This was another great idea they never went with. Giant vat of cottage cheese. Who wouldn't want that? You eat the cottage cheese and you use it as an outdoor pool afterwards, but they never went for that. I think we would have got that slant.
I also think we would have probably got a mini lecture on why he thinks it should be pronounced industry rather than industry.
That's that guy. That's right. That's that guy.
And then we could also look at the story from the point of view of the smartest character of the film, the secretary. She may not leave the office, but man, she would know everything that happens in that office.
Yeah, she's that character, the TV show The Office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The receptionist who sits there and she's like almost like the captain, but no one knows is the captain. She's on the crow's nest and she's looking down over everybody. She knows who's doing what, what's happening, in what order. She would let us know everybody in that company what they did and how she was the one that actually got them to where they needed to go. Because without her, they'd be lost.
Exactly. She's the one who can certainly speak truth to power, but she decides not to for the benefit of herself and everybody else.
Yep.
She's a very good liar. And you can tell by the look on her face. She knows she's in charge.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, this was the film
yeah.
that I would love is The Mad Scientist. Isn't this guy great?
First of all, he's got and I meant what I said when we were doing the riff. He looks like Clark Gable. Now, I know I'm dating myself, and I was not, believe me, I didn't go to see Clark Gable films, but I do study film, as Jason, you've done as well. He's got the pencil mustache, you know.
Yeah.
He's got the perfectly chiseled facial features. He's got the perfectly coiffed hair. This guy stood out in this film because suddenly, bam, we had this striking presence. But here's what I think is up here. If this were another film, he and the secretary would be a secret covert married couple that nobody saw coming, and they were infiltrating what was behind the dairy industry.
Yes, and basically taking it over because, again, they're the two smartest characters by far. And
easily.
You know, just look at that. Like, this is a mad scientist movie. You look at this still. It's brilliant. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen cinematically at one of these films. And, you know, in my mind, he's like coming up with this idea for this mutant cow that can produce more dairy products than any cow ever in the history of the world.
I wonder what happens if I put a little bit more of this in there. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit more of this in there. Maybe it was out of this laboratory that we got the tiny cow that was on display in the department store.
That's right.
That the mother and child were looking and going, we should maybe pick up one of those.
Yeah, maybe those were the, you know, one of those experiments didn't quite go as planned and the cow ended up small rather than big.
And they're like, oh, you know what? Send it to Woolworths.
So there we go. That is your vision of the dairy industry in 1957. Please put your comments in on our YouTube channel. And if you want to talk to us via our website, our email is feedback@cheezysalescinema.com. That's cheesy with a Y and a Z.
We need, as an aside, we need to get together with our marketing department, not for a big vat of cheese, but for ball caps that say cheesy with a Y. We got to do that, Jason. We absolutely have to do that.
Absolutely. And until then, from Chris May, I'm Jason Reid. We will see you soon.
Bye now.